Bulldogs here on WYLN, something to look forward to. We got something else to look forward to after the break. We get to hear from Coach Bookman as Sports Talk continues right after this.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
When emergency strikes, trust your care to the all-new ER at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. With a facility that's now twice the size. Experienced nurses who see you right away. A quick assessment process makes sure you get the care you need. Advanced technology on site. Safe, private treatment rooms, and a peace of mind that only this level of care can bring. When it matters most, trust your partner in emergency care. Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander, Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Hazleton. Let's make this the summer event. Put you and your family in one of these great-looking Grand Cherokee Limited L's.
We have over 8 in stock.
Or if you want something more rugged, how about a 2021 Ram Rebel? How about the 2021 Jeep Renegade? Save over $5,000. We have over 25 to choose from. Whether you're looking new or used, stop down and check out the huge selection of Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton, Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and you'll find out why we take the deals those other guys won't.
2020, it was certainly challenging, but now there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that light is certainly bright.
Enjoy our world-renowned water parks, classic resorts, breathtaking views, fabulous food. 2021 has arrived. We are back better than ever. Let's enjoy it. Find your enjoyment waiting at PoconoMountains.com.
Two Italian Guys Pizzeria. 3 West Diamond Avenue in Hazleton has all your favorites, from pizza, hoagies, salads, entrees, wings, and sides. Always made with the freshest ingredients. Call them at 570-459-2783. Membership opportunities are now available at the Valley Country Club, 79 Country Club Lane in Sugarloaf. Clubhouse upgrades are in progress and will be ready for the spring. Call Frank Radis for details at 570-233-5328.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on WYLN, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football. Brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton, your orthopedic and sports medicine partner. I'm your host, Marty Burns, joined as always by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Bookman. And Coach, before we get started about Harrisburg, I wanted to ask you something a little bit off track. Watched a lot of college football this past weekend, and you got to hear a lot of the commentators talk about one of the differences from last year to this year with the fans in the stands is teams adjusting the crowd noise. And I really hadn't thought about it too much, so I figured I would ask you, has that been an issue for your team? You know, you had minimal fans last year. Now you can have as many fans as you like in the stadium. Has crowd noise been an issue for your team, getting used to it again?
I'm glad you brought up that point, because first of all, I'd be remiss to say that we've had spectacular crowds from my understanding our first 2 weeks, and the community support is something we certainly cherish. And I know to our players, you know, they love playing in front of a home crowd, their family, their friends, the community. As far as affecting us, I don't truly believe that it affects us at all. When you're out on the field, coaching, playing, you're kind of locked in, so to speak. We do have, you know, adjustments and checks for that if we need to, if that noise becomes an issue. But overall, I think it, you know, applies a little bit of energy for our guys when they see, once again, their family and their friends out there. I know they enjoy playing in front of, you know, people. Personally, as a coach, you don't really know who's in the stands. You don't really pay attention much. But to that point, I know our players love playing in front of our crowd.
And you had another home game Friday night against Harrisburg, a highly touted ranked team coming in for the state of Pennsylvania. I know Harrisburg had mentioned in the paper that, you know, we were a little out of sorts. You know, we didn't have our best game from quarter 1 to 4. Offensively, we made some mistakes, some penalties, and so on and so forth. And, you know, almost making it seem like it was them. And sometimes you can be out of sorts, But sometimes I feel you got to credit the defense for putting you in that position, and I would think that your defense did that on Friday night.
Well, you said it best last week, and from Coach DeMelfi, that usually your biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2, and I certainly feel our defense, improved. It was a football game that at one point we made it 7-6. We thought we got a touchdown called back. Then it kind of snowballed for there. But at halftime, it's a 13-0 game. We felt we were in the football game. It was great for our players to be able to play against a team of that caliber, because our guys really felt like they belonged. When we got into halftime and we made our adjustments and we talked, as a team, we felt we belonged in the football game, because we absolutely do. I feel our defense, attributed to those mistakes just as much as Harrisburg did, personally. Obviously, like you said, there's certain ways that an offense could, be conflicted in certain phases of their game. But I think our defense, especially in that first half, really rose to the challenge of playing a team that had so much physicality inside in the interior and so much speed on the edge.
So let's get to the highlights, and we'll start defensively, and we'll begin with Raymond Abreu.
Raymond Abreu, he's all over the field, plays all 3 phases in the football game, makes a great play here from a stud end position to squeeze down and make a play for a TFL.
And Matthew Bookman here defensively, not in the screen, but he's going to come in here quickly.
Matthew, our alley player at safety, does a great job being able to read the depth of number 3 and make a big play there that forced the 4th down.
And one of your key aspects of your team is special teams. Here's Matthew Casadas.
We talk about being a 3-phase football team. Matthew Casadas, an electric 3-phase player for us, gets our offense started around the 38-yard line.
And I know a play you like is team defense.
You love to see 11 white hats to the football here. You see a ton of Hazleton area Cougars converging on the tackle.
And we get to see Ryan Matthews back-to-back defensively.
Ryan Matthews, he's really our inside linebackers between Ryan Matthews and Kayvon Minor. They're starting to get comfortable now. It is their 3rd start coming up this week, and you could see their reads are starting to become clearer for them. The game's starting to slow down. Ryan Matthews makes 2 great plays here.
And once again, some more team defense.
Absolutely. This is a 4th down play here where we get the football back. 4th in the tight red, we're able to get a stop here and give the ball back to our offense.
Very impressed with the chase down speed of Jim Beltre.
The motor on Jimmy Beltre is incredible. We certainly missed him week 1. He made his presence felt in week 2 in this game.
And we see once again this week Trayvon Corchado.
You talk about high point in the football. They continue to pick on Trey here a little bit, so to speak, and he makes plays countless times.
And here we see Jim Beltre again forcing a fumble.
What we talk about here, Jimmy's motor, and you see on the chase down, the strip sack here, the ball's on the ground. He immediately pops up too to locate the ball, and you see him wanting to get back in the scuffle to try to recover the fumble.
And here we go offensively, Connor Shamany with a 1st down catch.
Number 6, he makes so many plays for us. He's so steady. Another tremendous throw and catch there by Tyler Wolf and Connor Shamany.
Now a bad snap, but Jim Beltre comes up with your 1st score of the night.
We talk about he's tight on his path to the ball. He's not also able to cause the fumble a 2nd time. He has the presence to be able to scoop it and then score as well.
And here we have Tacona and Sachs appropriately named for a sack.
Max Tacona, Christopher Sachs, our defensive line, they played very well. They were improved from week 1 to week 2, and they were all over the field, and their motors don't stop either inside.
And again, more team defense, red to the ball.
Absolutely here. We see we're clean in our rush lanes. Sean Lee, he's only a freshman. I'll tell you what, he's a dynamite football player. We kept him inside the pocket, and we're able to make the sack.
Another 1st down catch for Connor Shamany. Great stiff arm.
Connor Shamany, we talk about getting north now, front shoulder through. He does a great job using his inside arm for combat, and the ball's tucked as well.
Talked about this with Tyler Wolf last week, getting Matthew Bookman out of the backfield.
Absolutely, the presence of mind to hit his check down here after reading his progressions down the field. He's able to get the ball down to number 1 for a nice 8-yard gain.
Now we have a 27-yard connection, Wolf to Shamany.
Once again, Connor Shamany, high point in the football here, does a great job being able to roll his inside shoulder away from the defender, makes a big-time catch that sets up this touchdown.
And Matthew Casada shows his athleticism here.
Absolutely, his athleticism and his speed. I mean, we talk about speed, and Harrisburg had a ton of it. So for him to beat that defender to the corner of the end zone, it's a great job by Matthew Casadas.
Great job on special teams to recover the onside kick.
Luke Russo, the X factor here, will use his leg at any time we can, and does a great job there to be able to get us the football back.
And another nice connection, Wolf to Shamany.
2 weeks now. Connor Shamany's been all over the field. Tyler Wolf puts the ball in a perfect spot there on the skinny post, and Connor's able to catch the ball clean.
And your last score of the night to Matthew Bookman.
Wonderful job here by Matthew on a great throw by Tyler. To be able to pace to the edge, we get a block that's able to springboard us into the end zone here for a touchdown.
And now you haven't had the results that you would have liked. You come into week 3 0-2, but you've had very good competition in Wyoming area and Harrisburg. So what are the positives to build on as you get ready for week 3?
In this program we talk about the standard is the standard, and we're not into, consolation prizes.
Mm-hmm.
But, for 2 weeks now, we feel like we played 2 really quality teams that are ranked in the state of Pennsylvania in their respective class. We kind of saw a little bit more of Wyoming area of what they're made of this week when I went up to see them play Wilkes-Barre, and they were without a handful of starters for most of the football game and still were able to beat a quality opponent like Wilkes-Barre. We also had Harrisburg, who is another formidable opponent ranked in the state. We competed with them. Those types of teams are only going to make us better, with some young guys getting their first varsity experience and some varsity players being able to raise their level of play. Those things are only going to prepare us now for the rest of our schedule, and it gets no easier this week playing a tremendously talented and a great Berwick team that we'll see on Friday.
And we are going to talk about those Bulldogs a little bit later on in the show, but coming up next, we saw him a lot in the highlights. Number 6, Connor Shamany joins us as Sports Talk continues right after this.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
BLB Auto Sales, a division of Barbush Automotive. BLB has deals that can't be beat. They carry trucks, vans, SUVs, sedans, and sports cars, and all at the lowest prices. Barbush Automotive can handle all vehicle repairs since they do it all. Check out their specials: oil change and filter, just $19.95. Alignment, $49.95. Professional and good people. Call 570-454-7571.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Sacco Chiropractic, East Broad Street in Hazleton, has the health care you've been waiting for. Whether it's a chronic issue or something new, Sacco Chiropractic has the most up-to-date techniques and therapies to help with any ailment. From his days of playing football with the Cougars and then in college, Dr. Scott Sacco has an elite understanding of sports injuries and how to correct them. Whether you are an athlete, a weekend warrior, or a grandmother, we can help with multiple issues. Call today to see why relief is super, man. 570-497-4150.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Imagine how inconvenient your life would be without power. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with a Generac home standby generator, you will have power when you need it most. Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted.
The Wire Guys, 1338 North Church Street, Hazel Township, 570-459-3345, and visit us at homewireguys.com.
Third Base Luncheonette, still making memories after all these years.
Welcome back to Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football. It's brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Health Network Hazleton, your orthopedic and sports medicine partner. I'm your host, Marty Burns. Joined in the middle by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Boakman, and to my far right, number 6, Connor Shamany. And Connor, thanks a lot for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Coach, we've talked a lot in the last couple of years about this young man, but what does he bring to this program? What does he mean to this Hazleton area football team?
What doesn't he bring to our program? You talk about a guy who now has started since his freshman year, never rests on his laurels. For how good Connor Shamany is, it's through his hard work and dedication and his selflessness to his team. He'll do anything and everything for our program. He's a player that continues to improve in all 3 phases of the game. His break points, his transitions, he's worked on his route running. He's an incredible football player. More importantly, he's an incredible young man. I love him dearly. He's someone who's a constant leader. You know that the reason why he shines so bright on Friday nights is all the work he puts in during the week that nobody gets to see, in the film room, on the field in practice, constantly leading and wanting to be a productive leader. He does so many things so well, and he's so vital to our football team.
Now, Connor, Coach brought up a good point, starting since a freshman. When you look back, maybe you had some growing pains as a freshman, but what you learned then to get you to this point now as a junior?
I mean, as a freshman, I was 150 pounds. I was unexperienced, and now, I gained 40 pounds, and the experience obviously has caught up. And obviously, you could see during the games, all of us, all the freshmen that were playing, even the ones that weren't playing, that were on the freshman team as well, they're gaining experience as well.
And one of the things Coach talked about was the work that people don't get to see. Coach often talks about the amount of work you guys put in the summer, 7-on-7 drills and that type of thing. How important were those drills this year with Tyler stepping in at quarterback so that you guys can build a rapport?
It was really important. I mean, Tyler, it's his first year starting, obviously. It was very important, very vital to get him ready for week 1. And those things we did in the summer, were bigger than any other year I've played football.
And with certain, we've seen different types of routes that you've run in the highlights this year with Tyler, where he's made connections with you. Are you starting to build that rapport where maybe you guys can just give a nod and say, all right, I'm going to do this, and Tyler knows what to go for? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's based off the coverage too. I mean, we could be running a zone run, and he just gives me the motion to run a skinny post backside, and we run it. It's a connection, whether it's for a touchdown or a first down, and Tyler does a great job with that as well.
It's a testament to these guys too, because we do allow them to have some structure in our offense to be able to allow us to take what the defense is giving us. And for these guys, that comes with preparation. It's so important for them. We tell them all the time, we don't want them to be robotic when they're on the field. They see things sometimes even better than someone else does because they're physically playing the game. So there's things that we have during the week that we could go to certain checks if a coverage dictates, and we're able to get to certain routes. These guys do a tremendous job of being able to understand the game of football as well, and that's another thing with Connor Shamany. His football IQ is through the charts.
And one of the things that Coach likes to talk about is going up to that high point to get the ball. We saw it, I believe, last week against Wyoming, or 2 weeks ago, last week on last week's show against Wyoming area, where Tyler put it up there for you and you went up and got it. Do you almost use like a basketball mentality that like you're going for a rebound to go up and get those high passes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I played basketball before. It's basically getting a rebound and using my height to like the advantage.
Now, Coach mentioned even though you're not a senior, you're still considered one of the leaders of this team. What are the leaders saying to the group? Okay, yes, we're 0-2, but what are we going to do to get on the winning end starting this week here in week 3?
You know, we're 0-0 this week. You know, we gotta go on a run now, as we say.
It's a testament to these guys too, because you see the way that they battle. They never give in. They never give up. They truly trust, love, and commit to one another. Our program, they believe, and nothing's more evident than the fourth quarter against Harrisburg. We have guys who don't want to come out of the football game. We still want to have our foot on the gas, and we want to compete. We work too hard to not compete week in and week out, and I feel like that's just something that's in our program from the top down, that it doesn't matter what the scoreboard is, what our record is. We're coming out each week to compete against whatever opponent we're facing.
And you touched upon it about putting on the weight since a freshman, and Coach talked about the fight. I thought one of the impressive highlights from this week's group with Harrisburg was where you caught the pass and you took it to the outside and then you used the stiff arm. I mean, that takes strength to be able to fend off a defender, just one arm. Talk about, you know, do you plan certain moves when you're in the open field, or is it just total reactionary?
It's just reaction. I mean, throughout the 3 years, you know, I've been playing varsity football. It just happens.
All right. Well, Connor, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank
Time
you
goes fast. Best of luck Friday night at Berwick, and
you.
We'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about those Berwick Bulldogs as Sports Talk concludes right after this.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Having a trusted local healthcare partner who knows you and keeps you well is vital. Lehigh Valley Health Network's Vital Choice program is a free wellness program for Greater Hazleton area residents ages 60 plus who like having choices in healthcare. Vital Choice gives you access to your choice of doctors, your choice of healthcare services, and free and discounted fitness, wellness, and social benefits without limiting you to one insurance provider. Learn more at lvhn.org/vitalchoice or call 501-7444.
Tri-County has been keeping your office up to speed since 1969. Everything your office needs: office supplies, personal and custom business forms, business cards, office furniture, new and used office equipment, copy, print, and scan solutions with wide format capabilities. Leasing is also available, free off-street parking, and free local delivery. Tri-County Business Machines, 117 East Broad Street in Hazleton, 570-459-0754. Family owned and operated since 1969.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information.
Welcome back to Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football. I'm your host, Marty Burns, joined by head football coach at Hazleton area, Dennis Bookman. And Coach, as we mentioned, your first road trip, and what a road trip it is, the big rivalry against Berwick. You know, to have this rivalry so early in the season, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, this being our first road test, and you talk about the quality opponent that we're going against, and the venue, you know, to go play at Crispin Field, where it's everyone's dream to be able to play at certainly such a memorable venue. Great football team, big rivalry game, tremendously coached. Coach DeFrancesco and his staff do a wonderful job. Talented from top down. We talk about, you know, skill players. I feel they have some of the best skill players in our conference and in our area. They come from football pedigree, so to speak, and you see, Wilk, and you see Sheptalk, and you see some of these guys, Kishbaugh. You see some names that you're very familiar with in the football landscape, and then you talk about guys like Ben Knorr and Aiden Mason, and they're a really, really good football team. They're complemented by physicality up front. It wouldn't be a Berwick team without a tremendous defense, and we saw that on display on Friday against Crestwood. So it's exciting to be able to go and travel to Crispin Field with our football team and compete on Friday night.
And I was going to talk about that defense. As you mentioned, we saw them Friday night scoring one of their 2 touchdowns defensively, and that front 8 was very active. They looked to create plays from that front 8, and then they got that great secondary behind them.
Absolutely, and you know what? They take turns making plays, whether it's Taylor and Hacker at ends. You see the activity of their linebackers. Their safeties over top. Then you have Slabinski and Boone, who are corners. So everywhere you look, all 11 players are guys who can make plays, and you can tell that they have that team defense mentality like we do as well. And they consistently did make plays against Crestwood that allowed them to be able to win that football game. They were a different team in the second half as Mason started running the football too, and they got going offensively to complement their defense. And they also pride themselves in being a 3-phase football team like we do. So very exciting to be able to play a tremendously talented and well-coached team like Berwick on Friday to allow us to continue to get better as well.
And how important do you think it's going to be heading out on the road, getting off to a good start?
Absolutely. I think that's paramount for our football team. With some younger guys, once again, stepping up, playing in their first road contest now. We've got our feet wet, so to speak, here in 2 varsity contests. Now, our first road trip. So certainly it's important for us to be able to get off to an early start. We are now settling into the leadership that's required of us as well, of those seniors and those productive underclassmen, that we're starting to be able to fight through some adverse situations as well, though. So we know if the start doesn't happen the way that we want, we have guys in our corner that are going to continue to compete and be able to play a 4-quarter football game.
Not a lot of time left, Coach. What are going to be the keys of victory to get your first win?
First of all, protecting the football on the road. Taking care of the football, allowing us to minimize mistakes, play defense. Defense has to travel, always does, always will, especially in our conference. We have to get going offensively, be able to, start to gel and create that cohesiveness in all 3 phases, and go out and compete.
Coach, best of luck, and we'll be seeing you Friday night.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Go Cougars.
So for Coach Bookman, Connor Shamany, I'm Marty Burns saying so long. Join us next week for another edition of Sports Talk, brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network Hazleton, your orthopedic and sports medicine partner. Fans, remember, we will be with the Cougars Friday night at Crispin Field, Friday night at 7 for the football game between the Cougars and Bulldogs, and we'll see you next week.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.